Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and it's time to get to work on page 3 of issue 2, also of Blood Force. And this was a difficult page to complete. I think I knew there were bits of it that were going to be difficult no matter what, but it ended up being much more so than I thought, to be honest. So we're going to start with the easy stuff, as usual, because it's always the best way to start. Getting a fun expression on General Rancor. That's one way to get me in a page. And we're just continuing the dressing down from page 1 and 2. Or wrapping it up, I suppose. And get a chance to get some fun Hawkstab gags in here. I've decided Hawkstab needs to be a hand talker. So that you can really get those blades flinging around everywhere. Where he's gesturing off to the side, where he's scratching his chin. That kind of thing. And that hair's looking okay now. And yeah, and this part here is obviously, I usually start with the easy stuff on a page when it comes to penciling. So there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about at these parts. Although this page on the first panel here on the left was just in the wrong direction, and took a couple of tries at redoing, to be honest. Now we're getting right into the lettering, eh? Yeah, not much in the way of penciling there. Also decided that at least when Hawkstab is speaking to General Rancor, he kind of oscillates between being a subservient officer and kind of a yuppie executive. So he can just kind of fire out executive jargon, which is always fun. And Rancor doesn't have any time for that because he's the Nick Fury, of course. I think I linked these up at the end. I'm not 100% for sure. Could be, though. And that's not how you do that. It's alright. But, oh yeah, I linked them up right there. Look at that. That's absolutely fine. Yep, and be a bit of a pain doing all this lettering, but it does eat up a lot of space, which is nice. That kind of makes things a little quicker. Not as much as you'd think, though. All right. Getting into it here, and of course we're well into a scene with Rancor, so that hair has gotten out of control completely. It's always at the beginning of the scene where it's like, okay, looks all right. Looks like he recently got a haircut. Oh shit, there it goes. No, that's completely gone now. And forgot about the strap here again. But I think actually I did the commentary for the last page while I was drawing this one still. So I finish it up during this commentary. So that's something. I did go back and actually draw on the straps on the other one. Just in case you were wondering. It's a little hard to make a file folder look interesting uh, from that particular angle. I don't think it can really be done. See, there we go. I didn't exactly wait for it to dry, did you? No, had to get that lower strap before we started in with the abs, so I guess there's that. That's all right. And I kind of like this style for Hogstab with the. I mean, you know, I wouldn't really have tried it unless it was a bit of a smaller figure, but it's a bit more cartoony. It's a fun look. I don't think I'd be too worried about it evolving in that direction, though. Decent forearms. He looks very beefy in these panels. I think in the on the pages where he's standing next to Hard, he tends to he tends to get a little skinnier, and then when he's on his own, he tends to beef up a little bit. It's just a I don't know little quirk of Hogstab's physiology. And again, just not a fun angle. Drawing a dude from behind sitting in a chair. Yeah. At least it's fairly quick, but no, could have done without doing that. That like saps my energy. Doing a pose like that. Yeah, and I'm remembering the extra pockets on or pouches on Hogstab here, so things are going well with that. Yeah, picking up those lines. Very nice. Now, we're running out of easy stuff to draw on this page, unfortunately. Get to do the clutter here, which isn't fun, but there's not a ton of it, so it's fine. Get that keyboard in, which, yeah, we hate that shit. Why the hell would I ever draw? Why would I put a keyboard there? That doesn't make any sense. Never doing that again. Get the Barry Windsor Smith panels with just squares, like colored squares across it. Those are keys. And this one here, I didn't pick up a few things. One, Hogstab's hand is way too big for like everything in this panel. I think I had to erase his forearm at one point and redraw it. It's a good looking forearm though, like, not bad. It's a shame. So yeah, too big for the file folder. Didn't catch it. That looks more like a comic book. It's a bit too small. What else you got? Oh yeah, and we're getting the bit in here where he's again handing the folder off to Rancor. It felt like maybe because on the previous page Rancor throws the file folder back on the desk, and either Hogstab catches it here or he picks it up and puts it back on the desk or something. And either way, it doesn't really come across. So, and we're just repeating the gag of putting the blades, poking them towards Rancor there. But that glass, way too small. Keyboard, way too small. Ashtray, even, way too small. So it's like, I don't catch on to it until it's done, which is a drag. And it's a shame I didn't catch on to it before we did this. And this still doesn't look like a keyboard. It's an admirable effort, but Those fingers wouldn't fit on those keys anyway. So what are you doing? All right, and here we go with one of the more difficult panels I've drawn, actually. This is a shot of the Clerg ship out in the woods. So this will probably be the end of me struggling for things to talk about, too. This is the first time I've tried even drawing something like this. I think at all. I don't draw this shit. You get people who, like, compulsively draw alien spaceships. I'm not one of those people. I compulsively draw faces. So I don't have, and I wanted, like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I would have accepted like a cliched alien ship look, but I couldn't find too many examples, to be honest. Not for one that was like anything other than a fucking flying saucer. We're not doing that. It's the 90s, all right? We're too cool for that. So instead settled on something that was kind of a cross between the Space Marine ships in Warhammer 40K, which I have not played. I've seen them though. I played there was a spaceship strategy game I played. I don't remember what it's called anymore. And I enjoyed that quite a bit. But how they're like kind of big flying cathedrals. It does actually carry a bit of that look. And the angle it's on reminded me of the Autobot ship in the old Transformers cartoon. Whenever they do cut to a background shot of it where it's kind of half sticking out of a hill. I look back at that and it's like, oh, that doesn't look nearly as good as I remember. But that's okay, because this one looks okay. But see, I like how it's kind of raised on the one side. Yeah, and just like faking a lot of details. And okay, so this stuff here, I can do this. You know, I'm confident I can fill in a giant patch of this panel with black. That's all right. And why waste the brush pen? All right, there we go. And that helps just the overall balance on the page too. I tend to get kind of grayed out pages. And okay, so we want to put in some trees in the foreground here. And not completely silhouette them, but like mostly. There we go. And just fill in some detail around the corners here, around the edges. There we go. And it's like the ship's going to have lights all over it too, so it makes sense that it's illuminating this from the front. And get some bushes in there too. That looks all right. And we're going to make a start on this wing here, or on the outline anyway. I have no idea what these details are going to be. It's going to be detailed though, I'm determined. This part here can be black. That's all right. We're going to have some black spots. Not like spots. I mean, it is going to be large. There's going to be a lot of stuff in silhouette, but man, there's a lot of detail on this ship. I'll tell you that. These little panels here, very random. I'm not sure what those ports are, but they look great. And far more reliance on the French curve and templates to try and get my shapes, and it works out quite a bit here. Okay, so make some more panels just completely at random. And didn't quite notice that I was perching this tree on that on the wing of the ship here. I'll get it though. I'll catch it. Those branches look all right. And get that tree line in the background. Pretty good. Now we're gonna have to try and. Oh yeah, that was. I had a last second thought of. Oh, we should get some Clerg, like retreating to the ship here. Just to like actually indicate, oh yeah, no, this is the cleric's ship. If you read the last issue, you'll understand what's going on a bit better here. And it does eat up a bit of space that the ship that had been earmarked for the ship, with something that I'm a bit more familiar with drawing. And just, making the panel a little busier, never a bad idea. Those guns look like super soakers. And he will be largely silhouetted because of the lights coming off the ship here. But that makes sense to me. But yeah, I drew a whole bunch of these towards the end of the last issue. So they're no real problem to ink. Good idea. Use a template when you can. That might not have been. I feel like that was maybe a bit too much black. We'll see. I think I am able to save it at least. And this looks like it's too much black, but it does work out in the final image, I think. Wanted to get some details on the gun just so it wasn't just big black expanse. And then filled up the wrong square here. But I still think that ends up looking okay. And then the clerk had these like grasshopper kind of legs with the giant heels. And that's a little tough to get across in this kind of shot. I think I did get it across once or twice in the last issue, but yeah, no, I think I don't think it's. I think it still hasn't been completely clear what their legs look like. No, now we get this other tree in here. Again, eating up good, valuable page space. Looks nice. It looks a little stark. Like there might not be a holding line. I mean, the holding line is the tree, but got a bit of that Sin City look, just a little tiny bit. All right, and now that I've done the other tree here, I actually managed to pull off a frame on the ship, completely unintentional. Just I wanted to give an impression of depth. That was on purpose. But yeah, no, still managed to frame the thing I'm trying to shoot, and I think came out with a better panel because of it. So kind of lucked into a nice shot there. And the door here didn't quite come out even, but I managed to get it to work in my favor a little bit, I think. And we're just gonna. So this is the plan of attack for much of the rest of this ship, is to black out areas here randomly and then fill it in with detail. And again, the detail is also kind of random. So I don't understand, enough about how to design a cool looking ship. So I just kind of got to fake it. But that looks all right. That looks a little bit like are they? Is it like engines? Are they like stained glass windows? Like, what are those exactly? Who knows? This thing up here could be a gun. Those three things on the side there could be guns too. We don't know. Could be a port of some kind, like a viewing port. doesn't entirely matter. Yeah. And this panel probably at least doubled the length of time that this page took to draw. But that's okay, because I mean, it did end up... Oh, see, I fixed the tree on that side. It did kind of end up making it... I don't know, kind of like worthwhile. Like, up until this panel, I would say I was 50-50 on whether or not I was even keeping this page. Like, maybe it needed a complete redesign. And then finish this panel, I was like, oh man, no. Can't quite do that. And yeah, blacking in a bunch here. And just getting like, yeah, like giving the impression of uneven surfaces. I guess this is a little bit like Ronin. And let's get some more lights in here to eat up a little bit of that black. That looks all right. And yeah, just panels. Ooh, that got brighter. But like we're most of the way through the ship somehow. That's more of a, definitely more of a viewing screen. This shape above the viewing screen didn't really work out, but you put enough detail in it, it doesn't really matter too much, I guess. It kind of blends in. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's just a shape. Almost looks like a battering ram of some kind. And then just, yeah, fill this in a bit. Put in some random detail, and I mean, it looks okay. It doesn't, next to the, over top of the window, doesn't look like it's sitting on it properly, but oh well. And then just, yeah, whatever I left white, random lines over that. That should do it. Same thing here, and just about done. Very good. Oh, and we're going to white out around, that's what, we're going to white out around the gun a little bit to draw a bit more attention to it and to separate it from the ship. And give an impression of the scale of the ship next to the clerk. So big, but not like football field big. Like more like a battlefield, like a battleship, something like that. Not football arena big. That's more what I was going for. And I imagine thinking about it that they're actually maybe comparable sizes to battleships. But oh well. You know what I'm saying. And then just a bit of background detail here. This was a little tough because I wanted to separate the layers. So I had to come up with a bit of a new texture here for this particular piece of ground. Mostly successful. Blend it in a bit more. Yeah. And need to come up with a background for this because we're not doing a bunch of backgroundless panels on this page. That'd be a bit of a jarring transition going from no backgrounds whatsoever to like a panel that's mostly intricate backgrounds. And just something there. That's fine. And now we get to redo panel 1. So, yeah, I'm not faking the glass this time. We're going to use a template. And that looks okay. And I'm going to actually rule the folder and all the papers. Just make them look a little random. And actually rule the seam too. And all the little divots in here. Just kind of randomly break it up a little bit to edit, which has an interesting effect of making it look like a photocopy. And I mean, looks like a file folder, which is pretty good because the last one didn't. And we're gonna, fake some writing on the page here. No, those are not letters. That's just scribbling. Just want to make sure that the scribbling's in generally the right space. And yeah, I mean, that looks like an ashtray. That's pretty good. I'm wondering, I'm thinking now, and of course I did all this and still forgot to letter it. Like giant pain in the ass. At least I realized, well, there's still some blank space here. So I get to do the thing where I tape, I glue some word balloons over on back onto the page. And then, well, back onto the panel, which I'm also gluing onto the page. A lot of glue on this one. A lot more than I thought I'd be using right out of the gate. And we're showing a close-up of Max Tremas here because this is, again, the beginning of the issue, so we need to show who we're talking about. Again, if this is somebody's first issue, we want to introduce as many people right off the bat as we can. And, decent look here. Don't think that ended up looking too bad. Might not be the easiest thing to draw women, but at least since you're not allowed to use a lot of lines, at least it goes fairly quickly. But there's the hair. You got to use a bunch of lines in the hair. But if you're using a giant wall of hair that it doesn't really adhere to the laws of physics, then you get around that too. You got to think of these things. And I'm not sure exactly what this background is. It feels a little bit like on a stage or something. I don't know. Looks okay. And then, yeah, okay, and then I guess we'll put the finished version up here. So yeah, that's page 3 done. And didn't take too long to finish, at least. Just, more difficult than it should have been. If I'd have cut it in the pen, that should be part of what the penciling stage is for, is catching that kind of thing. But anyway, maybe eventually I'll get to a point where I actually use the penciling stage for that. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching that. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, and the notifications so you'll know when I'm dropping more. Go follow me on Twitter. And more importantly, go over to my Patreon, subscribe there, because we need more subscribers if we're ever going to get Blood Force on the shelves. Is there more? Should be more, right? I don't know. I mean, I'll be doing more videos. You go watch those. It'll be fun. Thanks again. Bye.